30 drivers about to do battle out on the circuit for the OKN Junior Academy program. The final 17 laps, 24.5 kilometer race distance. It is a long lap around this 1.4 kilometer circuit. So much drama has already unfolded over the first half of the day. And of course, the weekend. The format of the way these weekends work is that on Saturday, drivers do timed qualifying in the morning to determine their grids for 2 qualifying heats. The results from those qualifying heats then determine what happens for the finals. And then the finals is what's coming up now. But a little look at the class itself as well. OKN Junior drivers aged between 12 to 14 years old. Maximum entries 36. We only have 30 for this weekend. So if a driver, oh no, we have maximum 36 entries, sorry, in this one, in the juniors. 21 nationalities that are joining us from all over the globe, and again, a really good showing of competitors in the category. Like I say, 36 entries. It is a full grid then, the junior category. It is the minis and the seniors that still have that little bit of space. The chassis, the Kart Republic KR2s, the powertrain, the engines that they'll be using, the Miami Red Steer, the 125cc 27 horsepower engine. Minimum weight is 140 kilos. That is kart and driver. If they come in a gram underneath that, they get in a lot of trouble. So they have to make sure they are above weight. That's putting weight on the seat itself, ballast on the kart to make sure that the driver and kart both reach that minimum weight of 140 kilos. The session itself, the weekend, has been brilliant. And the tyres as well. This is going to be an interesting one because the track right now is dry again after a deluge of rain. But the drivers will be using the Vega XH4 tyres out there. Slightly harder compound compared to the seniors. We had a scare that we may have been using the Vega W6s for this final after the rain came pouring down after the qualifying heats. But that is fine. The track is dry again. The sun has come back out. The wind has picked up. But the only downside is that the track will be green. It'll be slippy out there. That's the thing they've got to be careful on. The tyre allocation that I've used for this weekend, it's 1 full set of tyres per day. So they've used these tyres for qualifying, the qualifying heats. And of course, now they'll be using these same tyres for the final. So if you've looked after your tyres, you're in a good spot for this race. And then come tomorrow when we repeat the weekend, with brand new qualifying heat to the brand new final, you get a brand new set of tyres. Well, the music kick starts. The drivers will start making their way out onto the grid as we get ready to go for this 17-lap final. It's been a dramatic one for all the drivers. The sun has been shining. The weather conditions been superb up until the point where the qualifying heats ended and the rain came tumbling down. That's now gone. The track is dry, like we have already said, but it is going to be a fine line between, well, who's going straight on at turn 1 and who is going to make the apex at turn 1. That's going to be the interesting spot as the drivers now make their way out onto the grid. Well, a little look at what's happened further back in the weekend. James Anagnostiadis, who starts this one on a pole position, 2 wins out of 2 earlier on in the weekend. Only qualified 3rd earlier on today, but still put that 3rd place qualifying to good use, getting those race wins. Angelina Simmons, who was on pole position for the heats, has only bested a 2nd place start on this one, still in the front row, but after a 3rd and a 2nd earlier on, she's still in a really strong starting position for this race. She is the leading female driver in this category, and of course one of the Discover Your Drive initiative drivers. They will start on row number 1. Australia and Spain locking out that row. Row number 2, William Marshall, 2nd and a 3rd earlier on. He'll have Zavry Dudkovsky starting alongside, 5th in qualifying and 2 4th places. Row number 3 sees Casper Reipol, current championship leader, starting on the 3rd row of the grid after having 2 5th place finishes. He's got Connor Clancy. Toby Gale and Case Aziza go from row 4. Good results for them. They will have Isaac Say and Dinia Islamov from Kazakhstan on row number 5. They round out the top 10. Row number 6 is Leonidas Peruzzi with Japan's Sara Matsui starting alongside another one of the 3 Discover Your Drive drivers. Row number 7 sees Vanessa Schilkenate and Ella Hakkinen. Again, good results for both of them over the course of this weekend. Good results at Cremona as well. What can they do here in the final at Valencia? Nilis Malik and Egon Prodrotti, who's been a driver you need to keep an eye on. He's made positions all the way throughout this weekend. They'll have Axel Nocom and Matthias Wittmer starting just behind them on row number 9. Row 10 and the top 20 sees Sofia Pavaznaya and Flavio Cadia from Belgium. They round out the top 20 on row 10. Row 11 is Michaela Hart in her first appearance in the championship this weekend. We'll have Sanjana Dandu alongside. Amelia Wisniewska and Katrina E go from row 12. They give us our top 24 out on circuit. Max Murray and Oscar Gallin go from the 13th row of the grid, rounding out the top 26. Gallin having some good results earlier on. Row 14, Karine Kaur and Charles Troxler, another new driver joining us into this weekend. They start on row 14 with Amir Adrezen and Vera Jöland on row number 15. They round out the top 30. Enna Pizzuto and Sujana Dandu, they go from row 16. They'll have Christian Ebres and Marcel Zabella on row 17, just behind. It's a very packed and condensed grid of this one, of 36 drivers. The final row of the grid sees our last of our Discover Your Drive initiative drivers, Victoria Farfus, starting alongside Zachariah Dole on the 18th row of the grid. Both of these drivers not having a time set in qualifying has meant that they have not had a strong start to their weekend and unfortunately have had to fight their way through the order. As you can see, the marshals are prepping themselves out on the circuit. We couldn't go racing without the hard-working Orange Army, who have been making sure the drivers stay nice and safe out on track throughout the course of this weekend. They've had to deal with sunshine, wind, and, like we say, that little bit of rain that hit the circuit earlier on in the qualifying heat stage of the racing. There you can see the drivers suited, booted, sitting down, ready to get ready for this race. There is James Anagnostiadis from Australia. 2 out of 2 qualifying heat wins. He took the maximum points and he took 25 championship points to his name. Certainly will help him out in that championship fight as well. But this final adds another 50 points to a driver's tally of championship points. Plus, of course, a fastest lap gets you a bonus championship point as well. So pays to be quick as well as at the front in this session. Starting alongside Angelina Simmons here again. Pole in qualifying, superb this morning. And the racing as well, really good. 3rd in Heat 1, 2nd in Heat 2 as well. Really, really consistent racing. Much better drive in the second one. Able to just hold position, hold firm, gain those places back. Really, really strong driver. Now with this one starting on the outside, will have to fight just that little bit harder now being on the outside row. But it may benefit her a little bit here because, again, the conditions down in towards turn 1 are completely unknown to the grid after it was a very, very heavy downpour of rain that actually hit the circuit. There, William Marshall, again, pretty much carbon copy results as what we've seen from Angelina Simmons. 2nd in qualifying, but 2nd in Heat 1, 3rd in Heat 2. Again, looking really strong right at the sharp end of that one, getting those positions what he's needed, being in the right place at the right time. He's always put that car in a good top spot there. There you can see a little further down in the order. That is the number 43 of Oscar Gallin. Oscar Gallin, who did have a retirement earlier on in one of the races, so his tyres actually might be slightly fresher than the rest around him because he'll have done about half a race less than the rest of the field. That is Zavrej Dudkowski from Poland, 5th in qualifying and 2 4th-place finishes in the qualifying heats. He starts this one P4. I suspect he's probably wanting to finish somewhere a little bit higher than P4 in this one. A podium is at his fingertips here. Remember, it's only the top 3 that get to stand on that podium at the end of the day. You can see the heat haze. You can see the wind picking up now as well as everyone lines up getting ready to get ready for this race. There a little further back, Isaac Say in the number 39. He's starting a little further back in the grid, P5, the 5th row of the grid, sorry, I should say, in P9. There is Casper Reipold, the championship leader going into this weekend. Only 11th in qualifying, but certainly made the most of it in these races. 2 P5 finishes, certainly pushed himself up through after that qualifying. So again, really good results then for Casper Reipold, always gaining places. Now we start P5. Can he gain those 5 places he did in the qualifying heats in this final now? That is the ultimate question. Could he get to the front of this one, and could he remain championship leader at the end of today? That's going to be that ultimate question. He will have Connor Clancy starting alongside. 9th in qualifying for Connor Clancy. Good result still nonetheless in this one. There he is in the number 16. And I believe it was Connor Clancy telling me that, or it may have been Max Murray, one of them saying that they've not actually raced here before. This is their first time. I'm going to look in my notes here for the juniors. But so many drivers, it is their first time here at this track. And it was Connor Clancy. Yeah, Connor Clancy telling me that, yeah, he had not raced here before. He's had some brilliant results, putting himself up P6 and P8 in those qualifying heats earlier on. The 4th row just behind will have the likes of Toby Gale, who qualified 16th in qualifying, has 2 7th place finishes to his name. And, well, Toby Gale from Thailand is a driver that I think these other drivers need to be concerned about here, because Gale is a quick peddler. He was quick at Cremona, certainly wanting to really put that effort and that development that they took from Cremona here to Spain in Valencia. Can he keep that momentum up? That is the ultimate test of the young driver from Thailand, who is going to be starting P7, 4th row of the grid. The look back, Flavio Carrier there at the tyres. They look okay, obviously covered in marbles a little bit. That'll be to keep the weight up on the karts as they head back. Of course, every little gram matters for these drivers. So when you see them at the end of the race and they're going off to the dirty part of the track, they collect those marbles on the tyres to really make sure they've got a little bit of extra weight added to them when they head to the scales at the end of the race. That is the biggest thing, the biggest worry for all of these drivers. If you think, oh, did we put enough fuel in it to last for 1, the race, and 2, to be over the weight at the end of it. There is the 44, Case Aziza. Case Aziza was a contender at Cremona, really getting some good results, starting at the front and getting into the race lead and holding on to the lead at Cremona. This weekend, he's been battling within the top 10 area. Really good result in his second race. Racer 1, 13th place, just outside the top 10, but still a very strong result nonetheless after qualifying P10 earlier on in the weekend. Again, he's still in a good starting spot. He's higher up from where he qualified earlier on. He's 1 row higher up, so this could benefit him going into this final. There you can see the back of the grid, all in formation now, all ready to get going. There are race director Martin Bean, and there on the left-hand side, Chris Lambret, the chairman of the stewards, joining him up there as well, just keeping an eye on the proceedings as they head out into the circuit. Crucially, though, you can see no jackets on. The conditions are lovely. We're still at 25 degrees, partly cloudy, partly sunny. It's beautiful weather once again after that deluge of rain that has been and gone past us. There you can see that literally struck us at the end of the second senior qualifying heat. So as soon as their race finished, the heavens opened and the rain poured down on the circuit. It was certainly a shock to many people out there who did get caught short in the rain. But that cleared up very, very quickly. The track is dry, but like we were saying, we just don't know what those conditions will be like going in towards turn 1. It is dry out there, but it could be very slippery still nonetheless. We will have to wait and see when the field head in there for the first time at the start of this race. You saw very briefly there, brother of Toby Gale, Austin Gale, on the banking there, watching his brother in this race. There is Isaac Say, qualified 18th, finished P10 in Heat 1, and then 9th in Heat 2. Again, the driver from Singapore, really good results there, always being at around the top 10 after qualifying 18th. So, yeah, really strong results there for Isaac Say. We'll have Dinia Islamov starting alongside. Similar results to some other drivers, 8th in his first qualifying heat, 13th in the second. And again, chopping and changing those positions. It shows that it's not been easy for the grid here at Valencia. This track, completely different to the circuit we raced at the first time around at Cremona, as the whistle blows and the drivers make their way off to their formation laps. 2 formation laps for the grid then as they get going. The ultimate question here is that do everyone get going? Does everyone get going here? I think they do. Let's quickly go through the grid once more then. James Anagnosianis from Angelina Simmons going from row 1. William Marshall and Xavier Dubkowski going from row 2. Casper Reipold and Conor Clancy, they go from row 3 with Toby Gale and Case Aziza alongside on row 4. Isaac Say and Dinia Islamov on row 5. They'll have Leonas Barutzi and Sara Matsui on row 6. Vanessa Shilkanate and Ella Hakkinen go from row 7. From Nilis Malik and Egon Pedrotti on row 8. Axel Nocom and Mateus Vitva go from row 9. From Sofia Pavazniaya and Flavio Carrier on the top 20 on row 10. Michaela Hart and Sanjana Dandu on row 11. Amelia Veshemieska and Katerina E go from row 12. Max Murray and Oscar Gallin on row 13. With Karine Kaur and Charles Throxler on row 14. Amadou Adrinzen and Vera Jurland go from row 15. From Enna Pizzuto and Sujana Dandu on row 16. Christian Ebris, Marcel Sabula, Victoria Fafas and Zachariah Dole. That is a driver going no further, and it is Nilis Malik, unfortunately, out of this final. And you can see there, these weekends, they are so important for the drivers, and to be out on the first, well, not even the first lap, on the first warm-up lap is a disaster. And you just think, well, you're going to have to watch the entire race from, I think that's turn 1, actually. Yes, it is. That is the exit of turn 1. There you can see race control, keeping an eye on all the racing throughout this one. Joanna Falcao, head of race control, being helped alongside Gonzalo Planta. There, the two of them watching all of the about 34 cameras that are spruaned out over the course of the circuit. They honestly will not miss a thing out there, so drivers do have to be careful with everything. Track limits, contact, anything, tramline infringements, overtaking under yellows, anything like that. You just cannot get away with it, so the ultimate thing is just don't do it. There we go. Live on board here, Toby Gale, the driver who is starting a little further down in the field on the 4th row of the grid. P7 will give us a driver's eye view of what it's like to start a final here at Valencia as we get ready to go racing. Drivers heading in then towards the final chicane, all lined up, ready to go. 36 karts, a full grid for the Junior OKN category here at Valencia. Champions of the Future Academy program. It's round 2, and it's, are we green? I think we are. No, are we going round again? I think we're going round again. It is a false start. Yes, it is a false start. So the field do go round again. I think that was just a little bit eager there at the front of the grid. Looked like maybe James Anagnosianis has gone the power a bit too early. Or actually, it might have something to do with this. 2 drivers off the track. It's the 30 and the 33. Now that is Marcel Sabella and Zachariah Dole, who would have been starting 34th and 36th on track. They are out of this one as well before it's even started. So that is 3 drivers now out of this race. Nilis Malik, of course, we saw earlier on, the driver from Denmark, who would have been starting P15 in this one, as he is also out. So now we're down to 33 runners. Actually, is that another one that's off the track? Who's that? Is that Vera Jurland? I think it is. Vera Jurland, unfortunately, also out of this race. She was the driver, the number 22 from Sweden. I think she is also out of this final, walking away to the Marshall post. So that now is 4 karts out of this race before we've even started the final. That is suboptimal for the category, to say the least. And yeah, you can see the karts all spruaned out over the final corner there. Well, this will make it difficult for the drivers, because now there's going to be a load of gaps there in the grid, and they have to maintain those gaps. They can't close those gaps up. Those positions have to stay the same. They are not allowed to bunch up into one big group. Here we go then. Are we going this time? The answer to that is yes. We get that green light. We go racing down and towards turn 1. Anagnosianis holds on to the race lead as they all go through. Bit of contact there in the mid-pack, but everyone holds on to position. There is more. Is that more of the karts that went off earlier on? No, that's the 49. That's Karine Kaur, also out of this race. So that's another driver out, I think, before the race even started. So that is disastrous. The race, though, does continue. Everyone's got through turns 2 and 3 clearly. And now they make their way onto the onto the infield straight, now in towards turn number 11. It's a clear getaway for James Anagnosianis. He's already opened up a gap. It looks like Simmons is there, and there you can see a collection of drivers already there at the final chicane. That is not what you want to see at all. Yes, confirmation, it is Angelina Simmons there in second place. She managed to get that second place spot despite dropping back into the field at the start of it. She holds on to it. So, across the line they go. It's Anagnosiadis from Simmons, Marshall, then it's Clancy, Aziza, Raipol, Gale, Islamov. In that top one, there's contact on the start-finish straight right in front of it. There's the dust. You can see the kart off the track. I think it's the number 50 that's off the circuit, and that is Amaru Adrinzen, unfortunately. The driver from Peru, in his first appearance in the Champions of the Future Academy program, is out of this race as well. Thankfully, I believe he is okay. You can see the marshals there attending to him. We get a thumbs up from the marshalling crew. He is okay, but very scary moment then on the start-finish line. So that is several retirements in this race already, and we're still only on lap 2. It's more drama on the circuit. Katrina E is out of this race. Katrina E, another retirement in the early stages of this race, and that is heavy damage to the front of her kart. So something clearly didn't go well in that opening lap. Well, despite that, we still do have a race underway as Max Murray goes under investigation. James Anagnosiadis ahead of Angelina Simmons, William Marshall, the three names that have been the three contenders in these qualifying heats, have started to break away a little bit in close competition with Connor Clancy. Connor Clancy in his first appearance at this circuit really looking strong here and has latched on there in P4. Case Aziza, who has closed in, is actually there in P5. Case Aziza might be a contender on this one. Was very quick in Cremona, now looking quick here in Valencia, is up 3 places and is in P5. And as you can see from that picture there, is very much within touching distance of the 4 ahead. So, long way to go in this race then. But still, Anagnosiadis leads the way. Let's have a little look further back in the grid, the biggest movers. And, well, carbon copy of what we saw earlier on, as we'll cut to the back here, because down the inside, Simmons, Torres under pressure. William Marshall up to P2 now. Down the inside, Clancy closes in as well. Connor Clancy might have a run here. Looks to the inside and gets down the inside. Up into P3. It's Connor Clancy now trying to hunt down William Marshall and James Anagnosiadis. I'm going to cut back to what I was talking about earlier on, because they're now with the fastest lap of the race. Victoria Farfus, 57.062. Very quick time, and is scything her way through the field. She is up 16 places in this race from the back of the grid. The Brazilian is into P19, and we are only on lap number 4 now. If she keeps that momentum up, she'll be fighting with this lead pack at the end of the race. More drama just in the background there. I think that's Peruzzi trying to get down the inside of Dinia Islamov. There was a change further back, though. Ella Hakkinen got the move done as well. Islamov actually got ahead of Gale on that last lap, so that was the move that we saw just behind us. Their confirmation, Victoria Farfus. Look at that. DNF in qualifying, didn't set a time in qualifying. That's what's put her all the way back to the back of the grid in this one. Qualifying heat 1 and 2 did not go away. She couldn't make those positions up. 35th and a 30th, but in this final, well, I think she was just saving those tyres then maybe, just thinking, oh, I'm going to sit back a little bit, let these races unfold, look after the tyres, and then really push it in that final, and I think that's worked out for her. On board here with Toby Gale, who is pushing his way through very, very nicely here, and you can see him there, well, he's communicating quite clearly there with Dinia Islamov, just saying, don't defend, keep going, keep pushing up to the drivers in front. See there under braking, how much he can close in under braking there into that final chicane. He is right in that toe. Clancy looking to the inside there of Marshall. I thought that move was on there, but Marshall just slams the door closed through turn 1. Battle for P3 is on here. They need to be careful here. Clancy wants to get that second place. I feel like he's got the pace, he's got the speed now to close up to Anagnosiadis. But the ultimate test here is that if he does do that overtake, he exposes he exposes this position, really, because Anagnosiadis will be able to just break away on that one. If he doesn't time it perfectly, which he's going to do now, down the inside, was that the perfect timing? Was that the right time to do it for Connor Clancy? Did he lose too much time there to James Anagnosiadis? You can see the gap's opened up now. It was half a second. We'll see what it is when they next cross the timing beam. Oh, they're definitely going to lose time now to him because Marshall resends it down the inside through that final chicane and retakes second place. Now, here comes Case Aziza to the inside. Oh, there's contact. Sideways goes Angelina Simmons. And amazing kart control means she holds on to it. And she only drops down to P6. Reipold goes through. But that is as close as you would like to get it. Case Aziza and Angelina Simmons. Contact between the two of them. And Simmons down to P6 now. So that is a real big shame. But I am sure she will fight back in this one as Ella Häkkinen sets the fastest lap of the race. She's just in the top 10 now in P10 behind Toby Gale. So the battle in the top 10 still very much on at the moment as Anagnosiadis continues to try and break away here from the rest of the field. There is Reipold just ahead. And Reipold, you can see there's a big dent in that front nose cone there. You can see it there from that shot. That's got to be careful here. He's going to be careful even more now as down the inside goes Angelina Simmons. And, well, the number 44, Case Aziza, after the incident that happened at turn 1, the contact has been reviewed and the in-race time penalty has come to Case Aziza's way. The driver in 4th place has just received an in-race 5-second time penalty. Black and white flag has gone his way as we go on board back with Toby Gale here. Only down 2 places in this race. Started P7, currently P9. Right on that rear bumper, but with that penalty, of course, for Case Aziza, we'll gain another one here. That 5 seconds will put Case Aziza right down in the order here. That'll be a disaster if the race finished at this point. But you can see here the train still forming, and it's being led here by Case Aziza, who I think is only now about to see that warning flag. So be curious to see his reaction to this. Cross the line. No, yeah, there was a reaction there. Yeah, head dipping down, thinking, yeah, oh no, that's, yeah, gone my way. So he's now really got to think, I've got to try close in now. He's got nothing to lose apart from pushing away from the drivers behind him. So Case Aziza, who's currently there in P5, who I think he's actually just lost out to Angelina Simmons now, who's managed to get back past. So Simmons getting retaliation there, but just with an overtake back into P4. Right then, weekend results for these two here. William Marshall and Connor Clancy. Good results all the way throughout them. Qualifying for Marshall P2, Clancy P9, and Clancy finds himself battling with Marshall now for the top 3 in this race. You can see there Marshall with the 2nd, the 3rd, Clancy with 6th and 8th and all of that. But the live positions right here, they're now battling with each other. So this is a brand new driver that Marshall's not raced against right now so far this weekend. He'll have been aware of Connor Clancy into this weekend, but he won't have been going wheel to wheel with him at any point so far this weekend. Now they do, and in towards turn 3 they go. We still see no change between the two of them. Clancy's got 3 places so far in this race. Marshall up the 1. So Anagnostiidis just again controlling his race. Flag to flag he's looking for here. The gap 1.2 seconds. But the idea of Marshall and Clancy working together to try and close that gap up is the ultimate test here. Can they do that? Because, well, they've got enough time for it. We're on lap 10 of 17. Still 7 laps to go in this race. So there is still time for Marshall and Clancy to close in. The question is, can they? That's not going to help close in further back, though. Down the inside. What? Reipold absolutely wheel to wheel there with Case Aziza. That is as close as you'd like to get it through that chicane. You can see them just clipping those curves. The rest of the field going through the shot there. You can see the trains forming there. The battles happening thick and fast all the way throughout the circuit. Update further back in the field as we keep an eye on this second place battle on your screen. Big movers happening. Egon Prodotti 3 positions gained. Victoria Farfus update. The driver from Brazil up to P15 now. 20 places gained for Victoria Farfus. She is really, really pushing her way through the field on this one. An absolutely fantastic drive from the young Brazilian. Max Murray's in tow of that as well. It's following suit. 9 places gained for Max Murray. As well as Oscar Gallin, who's gained 9 places. Amelia Veshemirska, who's gained 5 places. And Michaela Hart in her first appearance in the Champions of the Future Academy programme. She is also up 2 positions in this race. So they're all in tow of Victoria Farfus, who's looking to try and get past Egon Prodrotti next. And as I say that, I think Max Murray's just got past Victoria Farfus. So there we go. She's in a close battle in the middle of this pack here as we keep watching this second place battle here. Still no change between Marshall and Clancy. They stay line astern right now. No battles happening between them, and they've got a consistency now in this race. You can see slight setups there changing. This is the replay here. Toby Gale, Ella Hakkinen just in front. Actually, no, Ella Hakkinen getting in front down the inside of the driver from Thailand and moves up another position. Hakkinen now up a good spot of places now. Ella Hakkinen currently sitting in P8, 6 places gained. Eyes on this one here. This is probably the closest it's been now. Well, William Marshall communicates with Conor Clancy there saying, right, let's go and hunt down James Anagnosiadis. The question is, we're on lap 13 of 17. Is there enough time for these drivers to close in? That's the ultimate question. The gap's 1.3. And looking at their sector time, sector 1 on that last one, both of them are actually slower than Anagnosiadis ahead. So I think the answer to that is probably going to be no. I think Anagnosiadis, pending anything that's happening, of course, I'll touch wood. I know commentator's curse is a real thing, so I'll apologise in advance if anything happens. But Anagnosiadis, I think he's good at where he is at the moment. He's 1.5 second clear now. The gap just keeps increasing as another warning flag is going out. This time it's going out to Max Murray, the number 17. Unfortunately, he is going to see a warning flag, and that's going to add a 5-second time penalty to his name, despite the fact that he is up 10 positions in this race. Marshall and Clancy then here, second and third, are not closing in on first place Anagnosiadis, but however, Angelina Simmons is closing in on these two. We might have a different driver on the podium here. And could it be in the form of one of the Discover Your Drive Initiative drivers, Angelina Simmons, who put it on pole position in qualifying this morning, now has started to close back in on these top 2, or top 3 drivers, I should say. But 2 of them here are under pressure now. Marshall and Clancy, as dramas happen further down in the order. That is off the track. The number, I think that's the 39. Unfortunately, that will go no further, and that would be a big shame. Just trying to see who that possibly could be on my screen. Oh, it's Isaac Say. Isaac Say in the number 39 has tumbled down the order. Yeah, Isaac Say, who started this race on P9 on the 5th row of the grid, unfortunately has tumbled down and is out of this final. That is a big shame. We're on lap 15. Ella Hakkinen, setting the fastest lap of the race, is in P6, and actually, I would say, is also closing in on this battle. There's P5 just behind Reipold. Hakkinen, though, is closing in on Reipold. That itself could be a very interesting battle, because that is closing in nicely as well, just behind this battle here. Clancy now, I suspect, is dropping off the back of Marshall. Angelina Simmons, though, is closing in on Conor Clancy, and you can see that now. Simmons is much closer to Clancy than Clancy is to Marshall as we go on to lap 16 now, the penultimate lap of the race. Time is quickly running out for these top drivers, especially with the likes of Ella Hakkinen closing in. So Hakkinen certainly piling on the pressure there behind Reipold, but eyes on this battle. This is Marshall, Clancy and Simmons, 2nd, 3rd and 4th on track. James Anagnosiadis is clear down the road. He's 1.7 seconds clear. All he needs to do is just get that car to the end of this race. But these 3, they've still got a bit of work to do here now. Marshall looks comfortable where he is. He's not got too much pressure from Clancy just behind. And I think it's Clancy who's going to start thinking about maybe having to go defensive here, because he checks over the shoulder and sees Angelina Simmons closing in nicely here. Simmons, who set the fastest lap earlier on in the race, is looking for another position here, and already defensive now goes Clancy on this final lap of the race. Simmons will take the optimal line, will now get right on that rear bumper, potentially could go for a move here in towards turn 3. Is it close enough? No, is the answer. Stays behind, and now on the exit, bashes into the back, has got the momentum and had the exit there. Pushes Clancy along now as the 2 of them start to do battle here at Valencia in the junior final here for the OKN category, down in towards turn 11. And again, Clancy goes defensive, takes the optimal line then, does Simmons is on the outside. Oh, but Clancy's going to run her wide. And that is a brilliant defensive move there from Clancy and holds on to the position. But Simmons' tires will not like that at all. Reipold and Hakkinen go through. But this man here, James Anagnostiidis, he will win the first final in Valencia for round 2 of the Champions of the Future. It is James Anagnostiidis from Australia. 50 championship points goes his way. He misses out on the fastest lap point, but he certainly helps out his championship fight as he steps up just that little bit more against Casper Reipold, who finishes in P4. Marshall holds on to second place ahead of Connor Clancy in third place. Reipold finishes in fourth ahead of Ella Hakkinen in a P5 finish ahead of Angelina Simmons. Toby Gale finishes in P7 from Dinia Islamov finishing in P8. Vanessa Shilkanate from Xavier Delkovsky rounding out the top 10. But for James Anagnostiidis, that is a superb drive. And I'm sure tomorrow he would like another round just like that. James Anagnostiidis from Australia. He takes the win from William Marshall and Connor Clancy in third place. Well, drivers make their way back to Parc Fermé. We'll go over the full classifications just now. We've gone over the top 10 and 11th. It's Leonidas Peruzzi finishing just outside the top 10. Sarabat Sui from Egon Pedrotti. Case Aziza from Victoria Farfus up to P15. That is drive of the weekend so far. 20 places gained for the Brazilian. Max Murray finishes in 16th, but also with that in-race time penalty. Then a little further down, you've got Oscar Gallin, Emilia Vishamirska, both gaining positions as well. Then it's Flavio Carrier and Matthias Wittfer just behind. Christian Ebres, 12 positions gained as well, finishing a P21 from Charles Troxler. Michaela Hart as well, just finishing in that top section from Sujana Dandu, Sevilla Parasniar, Sanjana Dandu, Axel Nocom, the first of the last of the winners out there on circuit, and then it was the retirement. So many of them in that opening stage of the race. You can see them all piled up there. The highlights from the race, though, well, I don't think there was many highlights of James Anagnostiidis. Flag to flag finish, exactly what he will have wanted in that race. Superb result for him on board here from the start of that race on Toby Gale. You can see there, Case Aziza going around the outside there, the number 44. Case Aziza later on in that race would see a warning flag as well with contact with Angelina Simmons. So his race certainly didn't go his way. Simmons held on to second place from the outside row there, managed to get the inside in the early stages. There you can see a very, very unhappy few drivers. Now that was Katrina E. Now maybe was it with Amaru Adriansen, I think that may have been, in the number 50. Who that contact could have been with, because both of them were out at the roughly same part of the track. Race continued though. A couple of changes in the top here. Marshall holding on there for the time being. Clancy got up into second place, and this is where Angelina Simmons started to fade back a little bit here at this point, because then, of course, Case Aziza was right there just behind. This move here down the inside just didn't pan out. Little bit of contact sideways would go Angelina Simmons. Amazingly though, she would recover back nicely, only to just get squeezed out in that last lap though. So really strong race for her, but very tough race nonetheless. That was a change up at the top two. Further back, this was Toby Gale getting passed by Ella Hakkinen. Hakkinen making it through there and finishing in the top 5. Brilliant result there for Ella Hakkinen. Checker flag would go out though, and a photo finish across the line there. How close could you get? Toby Gale going wheel to wheel.
Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for your top 3 in the junior category. We'd like to now welcome onto the podium Lucas Galero from the circuit to present the winners' trophies, and firstly to third place, Connor Clancy. The second place trophy to South Africa's William Marshall. And finally, the first place and winners trophy to Australia's James Anagnostiidis. Drivers, Lucas, join the drivers on that podium as well. You get to join with the trophies and the photos as well. Drivers, hold those trophies nice and high up in the air. Nice big smiles for all the photographers out there. Brilliant stuff after a fantastic 17-lap final. We'll now like to ask Lucas and all three drivers to jump on the top step of the podium for me, please, and join in one big photo. Go on, Lucas, you can get up there. Go on, join the drivers. Nice big smiles. It's your track. Well done. Congratulations to the top three. A brilliant result. And once again, we can enjoy a nice, relaxing evening now. Lucas, you can duck and cover now. We'll present the bottles of non-alcoholic, again, champagne, to our top three drivers, which is apparently very fizzy for the driver. Thanks, Lucas. Don't close the door on me. Perfect. Well, drivers, after a first relaxing day, well, non-relaxing day of racing, you can finally get ready with a champagne. 3, 2, 1, go! Well, a superb end for that one. Well, James has got a fantastic champagne bottle technique there, one-handed. But no problem. Right, can't see it. All right, James, come on in. Join me. Stand on this side of me, just here. Camera's just over there. James, superb effort for you there. That's what you needed. Cremona was a tough weekend. Valencia here so far is looking absolutely like it's going your way.
Yeah, it was a pretty good final. I mean, we got a gap towards the start. It was a bit hard to get the gap, but we ended up getting the gap towards the end, and it was just keeping on the track towards the end. And yeah, a lot better than Cremona. And yeah, I hope tomorrow's the same.
Like I say, tomorrow is another busy day, of course. Everyone on the same equipment as well makes it a little bit more of a challenge with a fresh qualifying, and well, hopefully the sun's going to be shining again tomorrow. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think so. We'll quote you on that one. He thinks he's ready. James, congratulations. Well done. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for your junior finalists.